Good morning, everyone. It's private group time. Wow, that's fast. Put them in here. Antonio, right on.
Hey Dave, how you doing?
That's the fastest anyone's ever joined. That's awesome.
And you know what the crazy thing is I have trouble logging in every week.
Perfect. We were on
Yeah,
the same
so
frequency.
I was already ready because today's our federal deadline, so I've been up since 4.
Yeah, welcome to my world. That's awesome.
Yeah. Um, so I watched our last conversation. I missed last week because actually this time works best for me, and so afternoons sometimes my schedule's already full.
Cool.
Um, So I watched the replays multiple times to try and get it, and it was so funny. I could see that I was not getting it, but when I watched the replays, it just all clicked, and and I could fully understand it better after listening
Yeah,
to it. So this is watching the replays are just priceless.
I'm
So
glad you said that. I want everyone to hear that too. So that's a good
yeah,
thing.
no, it's amazing, and once we get past this, I want to get my whole team on this.
We love it.
So yeah,
Cool. Love to have it.
um, so the one place where I'm still, um, I don't want to say struggling, but that I want to get clarity is because I've worked with multiple different people and mentors and teachers, and so trying to bring everything together and understand the different ideas has been a little challenging. Um, And so when you are putting goals together, and I understand the goals and I understand, I believe I understand how to put it together, but how do you actually, the structure? So, like you were saying, it's not, you don't want to put a time frame on it, but I'm not completely understanding how we write them out then.
Right. So, and time is probably the most confusing of all aspects. And ironically, it applies to everything
Yes.
because from the context of if you believe that time is illusion, that present, future, and past all exist in one continuum, that would change the entire aspect of time compared to if you live to the farthest linear time where this is my only lifetime and this is 24 hours a day, 60 seconds, no relativity to time at all. And
Hmm.
those are the two sides of the spectrum. So what do we know about time to put a structure around it? What we know is speed.
Hmm.
So instead of putting a date, an hour, a month, a year into our objective, our goal, we want to do it as efficiently, effectively, with statistical success, as fast as we can, right? As fast as we can. So
Right.
when I talk about things like revenue, I want to double the amount of revenue I have as fast as I can. There's no limitation to that, right?
Okay.
It could happen tomorrow. And then I'll set a new goal that I want to double it again or triple it or quadruple it, whatever it would be. But, I like doubling it because it keeps it in the realm of the pragmatic reality. If I say I want to quadruple my revenue as fast as I can, I don't like to wait 4 years, you know? So there is a pragmatic thing. Well, maybe I can get good enough to do it overnight, but I would rather just do it in increments of something achievable. I want to get 10% more as fast. I want to break even as fast as I can. I want to get to 10, a minimum of 10 employees as fast as I can. Also, the minimums are good for me on what I put. You know, I want to double as fast as I can is fine. But like if I want a certain number, I'll put minimum by it. And so, what I do is I play with both sides of the fence, those two realms of time, the pure linear time frame that gets fear involved and gets us motivated and has I can see the light at the end of the tunnel
Right.
combined with the faithful side of the woo woo. What I'm getting in my way when I do that. So
Right.
let me play with the vocabulary and the vernacular
Yep.
to appease both.
Right. Yeah. So I've that's where I've had a challenge is where it's like not using the word busy. It's like, well, what do you replace it with?
Active.
Because people don't understand. And
Active. I cut people off when they say, I know you're busy. I'm like, no, dude, I'm active. We got the same amount of time. It's just, what are you doing with that time? I think people that are sitting home high on their mom's couch, sick and broke, are more busy than Dave Meltzer. They're not as active, but they're definitely unavailable. And that's what busy means. I
right.
don't have availability or accessibility. So I proactively tell people I'm not busy. I'm extremely active. And I have many rules and things that I do to make sure I'm productive, accessible, and gracious with my time and
So
activity.
when I'm writing out goals, so like, well, we're coming to the end of the year, but so when I do it for next year, then I find the amount that I want to do. Um, and then I just say as fast, and I just write it down as fast as I can,
Yeah,
or I'm going to double that amount.
put the word minimum in front of it, right? So if you say
Okay.
I want to do $6 million next year, minimum, as
Right.
fast as I can.
Okay.
Starting January 1st, I want to do, I'll start keeping track of whatever, but my goal is a minimum of $6 million as fast as I can.
Okay. And
That
then,
takes away resistance.
yeah. And then, how would you work? Like, if I have an accountability partner or a coach, and they're not on this format, then what do you? How do
Yeah,
you do that?
yeah, it's fine. So take what they say and translate it. Right?
Okay.
Everyone's saying the same thing. So all mentors, for me, I have mentors for situations, a sleep mentor, or a
Right.
mentor for my relationship with money, or an energy mentor. Trust me, Sangeeta Sahi, who's one of my mentors, she's a quantum healer,
Yeah.
just she's a guru, right? Well, the
Hmm.
shit that comes out of her mouth, I'm like, fuck, like, are you kidding me? I can't do. So I translate it into what I believe, right?
Right.
So what I take away, it's like looking for the superpowers in everyone. I'm looking for the light, the love, and the lesson in how or what your frequency is. And it's not to say that all these other mentors and gurus that I have or you have don't bring huge value.
Right.
But
No.
I
Yeah.
have my own vocabulary, vernacular, my own understanding. So I'm always transcoding. And then what helps me more is I get the blessing of not only transcoding for myself, but then I get the blessings to take and process what I've transcoded and transcode it for Antonio or Mikey or Justin or somebody else. So
Right.
I get a better feel for different frequencies.
Yeah. I think the where it gets a where it's interesting is when you're still learning some of these things. And so I've been working with John Asroff as well.
Who's
And
one of my
so,
best friends, right? So
yeah,
yeah,
John's awesome. But I never said this before, but you've actually been one of my idols for a few years now. And so when this came up, I was like, oh my gosh, I was so torn because it was the middle of my busiest period, but I so wanted to be involved because I've been listening to you for a while, and you're on everything you teach is in direct perspective of what I've been studying for most of my life.
good. Well, and that's what we look for. It's a testament to frequency. And I would tell you that John Asroff and I are a great 1-2 punch. So don't lose that.
Oh no, yeah, no, I've been working with him since July,
Yeah.
and so it's been great, and I've had the opportunity to speak with him on a lot of his calls, and so that's been amazing as well.
Yeah.
But that's where I was going through his different programs, and that's where I was getting confused because he will go ahead and he mentions time limits, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, how do you?
Reconcile it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly. Well, I have time limits, but I work into a more opaque time of speed,
right,
not dates in hours, and so even Bob Proctor, there's a few things that they like. John doesn't even believe in the law of attraction, and he's the one that taught me the law of Goya, but
right,
we define attraction differently, so we believe
right,
actually the same thing, but it took me a while, hours of conversation with him to reconcile what I believed with what he believed. And I think
correct.
we both transcoded what we were saying and came up with a happy medium.
Correct. Yes, and so as a student, that's interesting.
Yeah, I figured if you're a student of both, because you know, I cringe sometimes when people say something. I go, I know that they mean the same thing I do, but in my world, that means something different. So I need to
Correct.
reconcile. Yeah.
Yeah, and so really quick because I don't want to take all the time. So is the quantum healing and what you've studied with that doctor, is that similar or the same as what Joe Dispenza teaches?
Similar. Very
Okay.
similar. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, I want to talk about that another time once I get
Good.
great.
Well, good luck today with the final day there, and think positive thoughts.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's been great. Thank you very much.
You got it, my friend. Thank you, Antonio.
Thank you.
Right on. All right, who's next? We'll take a little more. Oh, talk
Hi.
about,
Hi.
you're just a light of every one of my days. I see you, whether it's a text message, an email, you coming on the groups. You make my day. So thank you.
Well, wow. Thank you. That's very kind. Now you're going to make me cry. I guess you're getting back at me from yesterday.
Yeah, I am. You're welcome.
Thank you. Okay, so a couple of times ago, you were talking about whenever you're speaking with somebody to understand to communicate value, it always comes down to time, resources, and money. And I was curious, and then once you get to that, then you can quantify that for them. Is my understanding of your message? So that's okay, cool. So do you then have a repertoire or like a grouping of so they said time is important to them, and so you already have a built-in quantifiable value to give them, like you already have that all packed up ready to go in the back of your mind, or how do you?
Yeah, I have the questions that are, from experience. So if somebody talks time, what I want to delve into and question is, how do you make money with your time? Right. I want to see once I know you make $500 an hour, now I can give you quantitative value for every hour I give you. Right.
Okay.
And if you give me a resource and I see how expensive that resource is or how much that resource makes you money, then I can take that resource and quantify it once again and say, oh, if I get 6 bars of gold for you, that's worth $9,800. You know what I mean? Or, if I can get you a 10% raise, that's worth so much money. Right. Or I can keep your employees engaged. Like one of the big things that I'm looking at in employee engagement, and I've shifted my entire perspective in my business. And I know Mikey and Justin are back there listening. I literally, every meeting I have, tell my team the most important thing that I evaluate you on is student of the calendar. If I see that you don't know what's going on, you know why? Because varying on my mentors, I've heard anywhere the lowest is 60%, the highest is 93% of all employees are not engaged. So if you consider that you have zero productivity if you're not engaged. So if somebody is 60%, if 60% of the people are not engaged in a time frame, then I'm looking at it saying, okay, for every dollar, 60 cents is wasted to 93 cents. So if I'm spending that money on a workforce that's supposed to be productive, efficient, and statistically successful to my bottom line, and I'm spending $1 million a year. So if let's just take the low end, if 60% of that is being wasted, $600,000 of the million, if I can increase my employee engagement 5%, I'll make an extra 50 grand. And so what I try to do is, there's no set template other than what other time, resources, or money. I'm trying to get to the dollar, because quantifiably, if I can get to time, I can quantify time with dollars. If I can get to resources and get those defined, I can quantify those to dollars. If I can talk about money itself, it's easy, right?
Right.
If someone tells me I'll make this much or lose this much or whatever, it's easy. But in the end, that way I can define what I'm doing to the context of, you told me that if I could save, for every 10 minutes that I save you, or every 10% I increase employee engagement, or every year that I expand the value of your air conditioner, it means this much money to you.
Yes.
And then I say, okay, it means $10,000 to you. I'm going to charge you 1,000 so you get that 10,000. Does that sound fair? And everybody says, I can't see any reason I wouldn't want to do that. So it's all about that process.
Yes, which leads perfectly back to what I was talking about yesterday with the 120, because you challenged me to do that in the morning, and that's when feelings came up. Yeah. So it's been wonderful.
Morning as well. And just for you, Justin and Mikey, because you were on the group yesterday, Laura, remember Laura?
Lori, Hussy Lady, yes.
Yeah,
Hussy Lady, yes.
She left me an email and a voicemail in the middle of the night. I don't think she slept in 3 days.
Oh my goodness. It's incredible.
I saved the message for you, boys. I saved the message.
That's incredible. Well, I slept last night, but but thank you. This is it's so great, and it helps with what we talked about yesterday, and it makes, and I really appreciate how you take just the emotional mess that I sometimes bring you with, and then the next day I come with pragmatic, and you put it all together, and you're just amazing. Thank you so much, and I appreciate it.
I think Lori's actually here, so this is good. Message. That's cool. Welcome.
Oh, and happy birthday, Mikey.
Oh yeah, happy birthday, Mikey.
Bye, y'all.
He celebrated yesterday, tried to hide it from me. So he's big 28 years old, man.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Thank you, Christina.
Thanks, y'all.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, Mario.
Hello, good morning, everybody. I'm not sure if it's me who's having the bad internet connection, so if just in case. So David, I wanted to ask you, so as a leader, how do I keep myself from maybe overcompensating and getting too excited and trying to figure things out for my people instead of allowing them the process? I think at the end of it, I want them to see what I see, and I want them to feel as empowered and positive as I feel, and I try and spoon feed it to them, but it's kind of like spoon feeding your kid. They're like doing one of these, right? How do I avoid that? Because I think I'm just pissing people off, and I'm not getting the results that I really want to get.
I spent years in that space, my friend. I'm an expert at this. When I decided that to be a leader, I needed to be an intelligent follower, it helped me. So instead of trying to spoon feed or whatever, I took the perspective of learning from people and asking them, how do you do that? Show me what and when I started being more interested than interesting, instead of, kind of, hey, do you ever do this? Instead changing the perspective that I want to be an intelligent follower, which makes a great leader. When I have them teach me what they feel, when I have them teach me what they do, it's so open to allowing you to say, gosh, have you ever tried this? That's amazing. You're so good at that. Have you ever tried this? No, I haven't. Oh, okay. And you'll see the adaptability, the openness. I've also, one of the things this year, as I look back, that I've worked on is the importance of, so one was engagement, but the other was the importance of an open mind. Because an open mind is so much easier to share a vision with than a closed mind. And I was spending a lot of time, like you, trying to feed a closed mind is like a closed mouth when you're feeding. You can't feed it. You went like this with the kids, because we both had that experience, right? Try feeding that shit. Are you getting that? But that was a perfect analogy. But how about, the choo-choo trains coming? Choo-choo. Why? Because it allows them to what? Open. How easy to feed them when the choo-choo train's coming. Open your mouth. All right. The way we can feed our employees good things, like healthy things, like we do our babies, is to get them to open their mouth. The way we get them to open their mouth is to be more interested than interesting, and to be an intelligent follower, which makes you a great leader.
It's amazing you say that, because growing up, I always thought the leader was the guy who was the loudest guy in the room, the alpha male, the most exciting guy. But it's like a radical shift, and it's being a leader is actually very humble and wanting to know more about other people. And I think that's something that I'm learning from you. Just what you said today gives me a completely different perspective on being. So thank you. Can I ask you one more question? Just who you recommend? So your relationship with money, you mentioned that, and that's something that I definitely want to work on. I think I can definitely improve on. Is there anyone that you would recommend reading or getting in touch with anyone like that who could, because I'm very, very much, I spent, half of my life on the spiritual side, and as sometimes you say, the woo woo, but I think there has to be that bridge with the financial side and the productive side as well. And that's one of the things that made me really, you really resonated with me when you spoke, because you spoke about frequencies, energies, vibrations, and these types of things, which is something I very much understand. But you were really the only one who could bridge all those worlds together for me. Is there anyone in terms of the money?
Yeah, two people. Sharon Lecter. She's been an advisor. Sharon Lecter, Lechter. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. She wrote. She's a friend of mine. She's an advisor to presidents. She has a beautiful perspective on a relationship with money and receiving to give. And then Bob Proctor, obviously, is another one with a fabulous perspective on receiving and being comfortable with abundance in money and the energy of money. And then, of course, I'm a huge Napoleon Hill prodigy, so I read Napoleon Hill every day still to keep my energy aligned with that money. In fact, I sent Mike a quote today from Napoleon Hill to send to our team. So yeah, those would be three things I would do.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You got it.
All right.
Awesome. We have a short holiday crew here. Everybody's at the end of the year. So if anyone would like to join us real quick before I leave, I'm going to go for a jog. If not, I got to wait for the sun to come up. But remember, the replays, as Antonio said, the replays are really valuable. So I might use that quote when I send this out to everybody. Don't worry you missed, because everybody else has great questions. All right, everyone, I'm not going to waste your time or mine or Justin's or Mikey's or Antonio's or Mario's. We got a lot of O's today. All right, happy birthday, Mike. I'd sing to you, but I got the worst voice in the world. Oh, wait, hold on. Nick, let's let him in. Hey, Nick.
Good morning, David. How are you?
I'm good, man. Welcome.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
Great to have you. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm hearing stuff in the background.
We don't hear anything. Justin, do you hear anything?
Okay. Well, go ahead. First time in. So my question is more of a foundational question in that I've been listening to you a lot, and I think we're about the same age. I think I've got a young son, about 13, also trying to accomplish a lot. And so the question is your daily schedule to achieve everything you need to achieve and still give time, to your kids at home. If you could help me with that.
Absolutely. So number one, have two routines. And your routine starts, my tomorrow starts today. So my routine starts at 9 p.m. tonight. So when someone says, what's your routine for tomorrow? I say it starts at 9 p.m. tonight with an unwinding routine. I believe that you need to warm up for sleep. Sleep is the best exercise you can have, because it's the only time that our ego's out of the way, the conscious is out of the way. So I have a very strict unwinding routine at 9 o'clock that allows me to wake up at 4 o'clock. Now, I don't suggest to everyone, that's my freak of nature-ness, but whatever time it is, if your unwinding routine starts at 11 or 12 or 1 in the morning, that's fine, but you have to have an unwinding routine so you get the most out of your sleep. And then what I do is I am a student of my calendar in my routine. So very strict routine, which is wake up at 4, then I meditate for 20 minutes, then I take 10 minutes to get ready, then I go ahead and work out. Then I go ahead and I have an hour and a half with my family of off the grid time. Then I go ahead and do research. Then I go ahead and execute on the student of the calendar all throughout the day. That's activity I planned, activity I don't have planned, and my sleep. Then I come home, I have another hour and a half of family time, uninterrupted. Then I have another hour and a half of research. When I say research, I mean studying time is the mathematical equation of luck. I pay attention to and give intention to the coincidences I want in my life. I study my calendar. I study Napoleon Hill. I study whatever it is that I want to bring into my life. And it also is malleable. I can spend extra time with my family if I wanted to, or go to dinner with friends, and that's where the second routine comes in. I always have an adaptable routine. So COVID hits one day You have to do a 5:30 private group. Now I adapt. So how do you adapt? You either have a strict adaptation, like I would say, I call it the in-law adaptation. In-laws coming to town, everything's upside down because now your wife, we got to do this, right? We got to do this. I'm like, okay, but here's how I do it. I prioritize it by my values, meaning my adaptable routine is number one, my health. So I spend a minimum of an hour a day on my health when I don't have the ability to work through the Dave Meltzer anal retentive OCD routine, by the minute. Because I am by the minute activity. I get paid for. I don't get paid for. I'm a minute. Like with that regular routine is very strict. People like my girls are starting to work during Christmas break with me, and they're like, "Do you have any non-scheduled time?" This is crazy. Yeah. So adaptable routine, minimum of an hour on my health, then a minimum of an hour. It's a minimum of 30 minutes with my wife, minimum of 30 minutes with my son, who's 10, minimum of 2 minutes a day with my 3 teenage daughters. I asked for 5, they gave me 2. But it's 7 days a week, right? I believe 2 minutes a day is worth more than 2 hours on a Saturday, especially with family. And then I spend a minimum of a minute a day with my mom. That relationship's based off of 4 things that I tell her every day. That 1, that I'm happy, because that's all she really wants to hear. 2, I'm healthy. She loves to hear that. 3, that I love her. And 4, I appreciate her. In other words, she brings value to my life. If you tell your mom or dad or anyone in your close family those 4 things, you don't have to take all day. You don't have to go drive down and fix the screen door to prove you love them. They'll stop giving you things to do to prove you love them, because that consistent behavior will create efficiencies and strength in your relationships. And then I spend a minimum of 10 minutes a day studying. So on my adaptable routine, minimum an hour of health, minimum of the time with my family, minimum of 10 minutes on studying. Therefore, that minimum of 10 minutes of studying allows me to effectuate re-engineering the activity I have planned, the activity I don't have planned. And how do I do that? I use a do it now philosophy. I take inventory of my values every morning, personal, experiential, giving and receiving. I then align it with what's most important, kind of like Roosevelt wrote in his importance versus urgency matrix. So whatever's most important according to my values, not yours, not my mom's, not what other people think that I don't like, what I want. And I go ahead and I execute on that by using that minimum of 10 minutes a day to study what I'm doing according to, I got to go now run take the in-laws to the zoo, or, the car broke down, or, life happens. But I have found the adaptable routine to be one of the most valuable things, because I'm always getting stuff done. Difference between productive, passionate, and purposeful people and everyone else is purposeful, passionate, and profitable people get shit done. So I got to do it now philosophy. And I find the routine, the adaptable routine, is a practice. I do the best I can. I make mistakes. I go off just like anyone else. But instead of doing it for days, weeks, months, or even years of being screwed up, it's minutes and moments that I'm off track. And that provides me huge advantages in the universe of what I'm able to be productive with, provide value, accessible to others, and to access what I want, and to live a gracious life. Meaning gratitude is tied directly to learning lessons, right? If you can find the light, the love, and the lessons in everything, you're going to learn more, grow more, expand more, achieve more, be more passionate, purposeful, and profitable.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've never heard the adaptable schedule. It's awesome. Just a quick question, because I've been studying sleep and time for a while. Naps. Do you squeeze in naps?
I don't have to, but I would highly suggest it if it's something that works for you. Most of the things like that, I have a philosophy. 1, does it hurt you? Right? Is there a risk involved? And 2, does it work for you? So like I wear bracelets because they don't hurt me and they work for me. I trace calligraphies also. Why? Because it doesn't hurt me, but it seems to work for me. Now, I don't go out and tell everyone in every group, oh, you got to buy these calligraphies because they work. Or I don't tell everybody you got to wake up at 4 a.m. Or I don't tell everyone you got to take a nap. Not take a nap. What I tell you is I've read a lot about how beneficial naps are. And if your quantum nature is aligned to that and it works for you, there's no harm in it. no risk in it. And if it provides you more productivity, so for example, I look at things like if I work out for an hour, I get 2 extra hours of energy. So I'm actually adding to my day, right? I think a nap for some people, if you take a 10 or 20-minute nap, it could add 2 hours to your day. So I would say, fuck, man, if it added 2 hours to my day, I'd do it. It doesn't. My problem with my biochemistry and quantum nature is when I nap or fall back to sleep, I wake up groggy and slow.
Yeah.
Other people, it's the opposite, right? They're like spring chickens, you know? I wake up that way in the morning every day. So that's what I want, my highest plateauing and growing every day.
Awesome. Thanks so much, David. I appreciate it.
You got it, Nick. Thanks for joining us. Look forward to more. These replays will be there for you as well.
Thank you. I've been watching them. Thank you very much.
Oh, cool. All right, good.
Thanks.
I'm glad everyone's doing that. All right, everyone. This is, like I said, a little shorter, 5:30. Thank you, anyone. Watch the replays. And Tony's still hung out here. I love that, brother. You're the man. Thank you so much, everyone. Friday's training is on mentorship, so it's a really good one to watch either the replay on Spotify Entrepreneur or watch it live, 11 a.m. Pacific on there. Also, those that didn't get it, search.dmeltzer.com. You just type in whatever you're interested in, and all my videos will come up pertaining to that issue. Search.dmeltzer.com. Check it out. Use it. It's for the private group. You guys will love it. I built it for you. All right, Mikey, we're going to go celebrate your birthday. Hopefully you didn't finish that cake yesterday. We can use it again today. I saved the candles. And Justin, thank you for waking up, my friend. We'll talk to you guys soon. Remember, be kind to your future self and do good deeds. Thank you.